Y'all want to watch Bridgerton, Harry Potter, and Wicked, all remixed? This is it. The story starts with a tale of two magical brothers, Rian and Rafal, who create a school to uphold the balance between good and evil. In a dramatic duel, Rafal uses forbidden period magic despite Rian's warnings. As the fight escalates, Rian pulls Rafal off a cliff to stop him, surviving while Rafal falls to his death. Years later in the village of Gavalden, a fantasy dream breaks as Sophie wakes up to her balding stepmother's nagging, eager to escape her dreary life and become a princess. Meanwhile, Agatha lives on the edge of town in a cottage with her eccentric mother, who believes Agatha has magical potential. The two girls, outcasts in their own ways, have formed a deep bond since Sophie's mother passed away. While running errands, Agatha is harassed, but Sophie defends her, smacking the fugly man with a frying pan. At Deauville's bookstore, Sophie discovers a mysterious book from SGE. The shopkeeper tells them of the School for Good and Evil, and a girl named Leonora, who vanished under a blood-red sky 20 years ago. Sophie is fascinated and secretly writes an application letter, placing it inside the wishing tree. The next day, Sophie decides to run away. She promises Agatha she won't, but sneaks to the forest anyway. Agatha follows and catches her just as the sky turns red. A monstrous creature swoops down, grabs Sophie, and drags her. Agatha holds on, and they are both lifted into the air by a giant vulture. The creature flies them to the enchanted School for Good and Evil. It drops Agatha gently into a rose-covered courtyard on the good side and hurls Sophie into the river gates of the evil school. Sophie screams that there's been a mistake, insisting she belongs in good, but the wolf guards drag her inside. This is like a furry convention. Agatha, dazed, accidentally slaps a fairy and is approached by a group of Evergirls who judge her appearance and assume she's a Never. Meanwhile, fairies drag her inside. On the evil side, Sophie is marched into a dark ballroom where she meets Lady Lesso, the dean. Sophie protests being placed in the wrong school, claiming she's good, but Lesso calmly tells her she was chosen as a reader and has been honored with entry. Her complaints are dismissed, and Lesso announces their dorms and class schedules. Oscar winner Charlize Theron acting is a bit questionable.
I have fresh villainy to attend to. Showdown.
Meanwhile, Agatha finds the annoying girls and wonders if she's in hell. She stumbles into the groom room, where she meets Professor Dovey. Dovey explains Agatha is an Ever and Sophie a Never. When Agatha insists there's been a mix-up, Dovey warns her that admitting to an error would cost her life, so they must pretend everything is normal until it's resolved. She urges Agatha to unlock her magic through emotion. Later, students from both schools gather in a grand hall. Sophie and Agatha try to reunite, but are stopped by a fairy and wolf guard, Sophie looking haggard, but Hort really into her. Dovey and Lesso enter to officially welcome the students. Good schoolboys put on a show, tossing roses to the girls. Then Tedros, a mid-looking prince, swings in dramatically and challenges them. He defeats all his peers, but Atemu Draco Malfoy sends out a Cyclops. Tedros draws Excalibur, prompting Lesso to enchant the Cyclops' axe to balance the fight. Tedros wins, cutting off the Cyclops' masturbating arm. Tedros accidentally throws his rose at Agatha, but she gives him an attitude. A blonde bimbo says it was meant for her. The headmaster, looking like Morpheus, arrives and gives a speech. Sophie and Agatha seize the moment to explain the mistake, but he shuts them down, insisting the school never makes mistakes. That night, Agatha finds herself bullied by the basic Evergirls, who lock her in. She escapes through the balcony. Sophie, on the evil side, is bullied too. When she snaps that she's not a villain or a hag, Hester becomes enraged because the hag Sophie pointed to is Hester's mother. I see the resemblance. Agatha, sneaking across a ledge, is attacked by a cherub and leaps into a library. There, she overhears Lesso and Dovey discussing her and Sophie. Lesso is adamant there was no mistake and claims Agatha is more powerful than Sophie. She vents about evil not winning in 200 years, but Dovey insists they'll be blamed if anything goes wrong. As the two deans leave, a pillar of blood rises from the table and takes the form of Rafal. He warns Agatha to stay away from Sophie, before exploding into a shower of blood. Agatha reaches the School for Evil's entrance and sees the headmaster emerge, ascending to his tower. Meanwhile, Sophie is being harassed by Hester and her roommates, who back her onto a balcony. Sophie fights back, knocking Hester's knife over the ledge. Spotting Agatha below, she rushes to her, and together they head to the master's tower. Inside, they encounter the Storian, a magical, self-writing book. The headmaster arrives and explains that the Storian has been writing about them long before their arrival. He questions why they want to leave. Agatha insists they need to return home, but Sophie, fascinated by the magic, says she belongs at the School for Good. The headmaster challenges her to prove it, with true love's kiss. Sophie would have to find her true love. Then he transports them back to their quarters. At the School for Good, Agatha learns from other girls that getting invited to the Evers Ball is essential. Without an invitation, you fail the class. 3 fails mean expulsion, and expelled students are turned into something else. Sophie, now in uglification class, and Agatha in beauty class, both reject the values being taught. Professor Anemone forces Agatha to smile, and when she can't, she fails. This professor does the most at shiz too. Sophie's teacher, meanwhile, makes Hort dunk her face into a bowl of ugly brew. During lunch, Gregor befriends Agatha, confiding he doesn't fit in as a prince and would rather run a grocery store. Sophie joins Agatha and reveals she's aiming for true love's kiss from Tedros. She asks Agatha to deliver him a letter. Agatha finds Tedros and hands him the letter. They unexpectedly connect during their conversation. "Girl, you can do better than Chad." Later, during a Blue Forest tour led by their gnome teacher Yuba, Gregor panics at the haunted pumpkin patch and runs. Agatha chases after him, warning that expulsion comes after a third fail. Gregor gets Thanos snapped in a thundercloud. In Lesso's class, students are asked to demonstrate their powers. Sophie and Hester clash, and Hester summons a fire-breathing dragon from her fatback tattoo. Sophie tries to call for help, and a swarm of bees bursts in and defeats the dragon. They morph into Rafal, who praises Sophie's progress. "Oh, so this white girl controls this black man?" Lesso pulls Sophie aside and tells her that summoning Rafal proves she's evil and destined to lead them to victory. Back at the school for good, Agatha demands answers about Gregor. Dovey explains that it's part of the system. "I don't trust a blonde Kerry Washington." In a lesson on wish fishes, students make wishes by touching the water. Agatha wishes for everyone to go home. The fishes rise, and from them, a girl is released, freed by her wish. An Indian girl failing classes makes this movie unbelievable. Moments later, a monster vulture arrives. Agatha realizes that it's Gregor because of its orange hair. Tedros throws Excalibur to save her, killing Gregor. Furious, Agatha punches him, and Dovey ends class. Agatha says nothing about this place is good because of how students are punished. Dovey admits that Agatha is a true good princess because of her empathy. That evening in the banquet hall, Sophie finally gets a moment with Tedros, but wolf guards intervene and drag her to the doom room. There, Lesso claims Sophie's beauty hinders her from being truly evil and chops off her hair. Rafal appears in a mirror, encouraging Sophie to embrace her destiny, fueling her determination to win Tedros. The next day, Agatha and Tedros get a little closer, but Agatha knows she can't get close since Sophie is supposed to fall for the Midwest too. Then, Lesso and Dovey grant students access to their finger glow magic. During the ritual, Sophie storms in, flaunting her edgy new look and attitude. Looking like a blonde Wednesday, she immediately forms a villainous clique with the other Nevers. At lunch, Agatha confronts Sophie about her transformation, warning that it won't win Tedros. She urges her to prove she's good. Together, they devise a plan. Sophie joins the archery class where Evers are known to shoot straight arrows, unlike Nevers, who shoot gay arrows. With Agatha's magical boost, Sophie nails the shot. Tedros is impressed and invites her to spend time with him. Their public affection sparks chaos among students, erupting in a full-blown fight amongst both sides. The trio is summoned to the headmaster's office. Sophie and Tedros argue their love is real, prompting the headmaster to propose a trial by tale, a survival test in the Blue Forest where they must find each other by dawn. As the trial begins, Sophie is attacked by killer pansies. Agatha's finger glow activates, turning her into a bird, and she rushes to help. A reaper ambushes Sophie, but Agatha intervenes just in time. Tedros appears, but when the reaper overpowers him, Sophie freezes. Agatha steps in and helps defeat the creature. Tedros, seeing Sophie's inaction, accuses her of being evil and quits. Sophie blames Agatha, accusing her of stealing Tedros. "Girl, you the one who didn't do ish." Afterward, Dovey confronts Agatha for interfering in the trial. Agatha argues that Sophie isn't good, but also that no one is purely good or evil. She questions the school's rigid rules, especially when Rafal has been sneaking in undetected. Dovey is shaken and agrees to speak to Lesso. Agatha writes Sophie a heartfelt letter, but when a Never delivers it, Rafal intercepts. Twisting Agatha's words, he shows Sophie only the part where Agatha doubts her goodness. Betrayed and heartbroken, Sophie is manipulated into accepting period magic. Dovey confronts Lesso, furious that she knew Rafal was inside the school and told no one. Lesso defends herself, claiming she only wanted evil to win for once. Anemone intervenes, warning that Rafal isn't here to help evil. He'll destroy both schools. The headmaster enters and informs them that Sophie has gone missing. He orders the professors to search both schools and asks Agatha to attend the Evers Ball to look for her. Meanwhile, Lesso finds Sophie alone in the library and is shocked by her transformation, looking ugly as ever. Sophie reveals she's Rafal's new favorite. She exposes Lesso's true identity, Leonora of Gavalden, hoping to win Rafal over. Dovey overhears the exchange and demands to know what Sophie promised Rafal. In response, Sophie unveils her blood magic powers, stunning both women. At the Evers Ball, Agatha finds Tedros and asks about Sophie. Tedros tries to discuss what happened in the forest, and asks why Agatha still cares for Sophie despite everything. Agatha shares how Sophie was the only one who stood by her in Gavaldon. Moved, Tedros confesses his love for Agatha, but Agatha only into light-skinned men. Suddenly, the ballroom doors burst open. Sophie, under a black veil, enters with a disturbing new appearance, proving that white women age horribly. Agatha is visibly shaken. Sophie brushes her off and turns to Tedros, reminding him of his promise to take her to the ball. But Tedros refuses, accusing her of betrayal and declaring he now cares for Agatha. Agatha denies any relationship, but Sophie sees it as another betrayal. She declares Agatha her nemesis before storming out. Chaos erupts when other male students report that the faculty and guards have been turned into miniature figurines by a spell. Tedros rallies the Evers to confront Sophie, but Agatha warns them that good must never attack. Ignoring her, they storm the School of Evil. Agatha transforms into a dove and flies to the evil ballroom, where the Nevers are dancing. As the Evers arrive and point their arrows at Sophie, Agatha warns it's a trap. Attacking would strip them of their identity. The Evers fire anyway, but their arrows turn into daisies. In that moment, the alignment of good and evil shifts. Those who attacked have now become evil. Sophie seizes the opportunity and demands retaliation. Battle erupts. The Evers, now technically evil, are overpowered. Tedros is struck by Hort and falls unconscious. Agatha rushes to his side, only to be pulled away by Sophie's magic. Sophie warns her to stay back. Agatha pleads with her to stop, but Sophie, consumed by anger, refuses and casts her out. Sophie transforms into a bird and flies to the headmaster's tower. There, the headmaster reveals his true identity. He is Rafal, not Rian. He confesses to having infiltrated the School of Good for years, slowly corrupting it from within. Sophie is stunned, but Rafal praises her, declaring that together they are unstoppable. Elsewhere, Agatha and Tedros reunite. Agatha tells him that Sophie is being manipulated by Rafal. Determined to save her, Tedros agrees to help. Rafal and Sophie share a true love's kiss, triggering the fall of both schools and the rise of pure evil. But Sophie, fearing for her friends, regrets the act and begs Rafal to reverse it. Agatha arrives, and when Rafal attacks, Sophie sacrifices herself to protect her, reversing the curse. Tedros tries to strike Rafal but is overpowered. Sophie magically throws Excalibur to Agatha, who slays Rafal with it. Agatha mourns Sophie, kissing her in grief. This act of true love, born from friendship, revives Sophie. The faculty return to normal, and the schools are unified into one, free of the good and evil divide. The portal to Gavaldon reopens. Sophie urges Agatha to stay with Tedros, but Agatha chooses to return home with her instead. Back in Gavaldon, their families welcome them. As the portal closes, an arrow, a dagger, and the voice of the Storian arrive with a final message. This is only the beginning. But you see, it's basically the end because Netflix has not renewed a second movie, and this was made in 2022. What did you guys think of this one? Have you read the books?
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.